Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to the Day 31 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season. Yo, how does this happen? How does that happen? 149 points in regulation. Yo, this is exactly what people were scared about when Kevin Durant went to the Warriors. You dropped 149 points in regulation. No overtime, no double overtime, no triple overtime, no, just in the standard 48 minutes that you're allowed to play. They shot over 61% from the field and 52% from three, and also had 47 assists. 47 assists. That's remarkable. You can be a hater if you want to, but you have to admit 149 points, 47 assists, better than 60% from the field and better than 50% from the three-point line is impressive. That's remarkable. 47 assists on 53 field goals. Only 6 field goals were left without an assist. That is insane. Kevin Durant, Stephen Curry, and Klay Thompson all were on last night. They were all on fire last night. Kevin Durant had 28, Stephen Curry had 31, and Klay Thompson had 26. I guess this is what happens when you beat the Warriors like the Lakers did earlier in the season. They come back. Ian Clark had another one of those games off the bench, yo. 5 for 5 from 3 and had 21 points. Overall, this is just mind-boggling. Like, you don't see this outside of the All-Star game basically in today's NBA. You don't see 149 points up on the scoreboard. I mean, you know it's bad when Anderson Varejao sees the floor. I mean, this man never plays. Unfortunately for the Lakers, they do play the Warriors again on Friday, so the Warriors weren't the only team that was on fire though last night. Yo, freaking Kevin Love. Where was that? Where did that come from? 34 points in the first quarter? Yo, where did that come from? In the first quarter, I thought he was going to go out there and break Stephen Curry's record already. I honestly thought he was going to, and then Kyrie basically said, no, you good, because he didn't let Kevin Love touch the ball again. That's off to Portland, though. They managed to stick around in that game. They only lost by 12. They were down by like 20 with 3 minutes to play. They got it down to at least a respectable 12. A large part of that, basically the whole part of that, was Damian Lillard and his 40 points and 11 assists, but Kevin Love finished the game with 40 points. He only scored 6 points after the first quarter, but then again, he only took 6 shots after the first quarter. Like I said, Kyrie Irving said, you had the ball enough, cuz this is my ball now. You also had LeBron James had an amazing game, yo. 31 points, 13 assists, and 10 rebounds, and also had 3 steals, and Kyrie Irving had 20 points and 6 assists. It was just a beautiful offensive game from the Cavs, too. Kind of overshadowed by the Warriors going for like 149 and 47 assists, but still, the Cavs had a really good offensive game. And for the freaking Blazers, yo, something needs to happen here. It's a problem when your starting center can only grab 4 rebounds. Yo, Mason Plumlee had 19 points, but he had 4 rebounds. And you know, he's not getting those points as like they're throwing the ball down to him in the post and letting him work. No, it's like points that he just happens to find, you know what I mean? Like, you need more than 4 rebounds from your starting big man. They need a post player. The Trailblazers need a post player because they cannot just rely on Damian Lillard to keep making these shots from downtown. They can't rely on Damian Lillard to basically carry the offense. It's just not a stable way to win games. They need someone that can throw the ball down to in the post to get some shots. As you can see, CJ McCollum had an off night, and if Damian Lillard or CJ McCollum have an off night, it's going to be really hard for the Portland Trailblazers to win. For the Cavs, though, I'm so excited for Christmas, yo. Once the Warriors and Cavs play, yo, that game's going to be hype. I don't think it's going to be anything like last year where the Warriors dominated in the regular season. Or maybe they will, I don't know. But I just can't wait to see what happens. Let's not forget about this team, though. Let's not forget about this team. I just thought I'd mention them really quick because we were mentioning the Warriors, we mentioned the Cavs. Now we have to mention the Los Angeles Clippers because they are playing just as good as those two teams in the regular season so far. They dropped off the Dallas Mavericks. They beat them 124-104, and I guess you could expect that. I mean, this team, like I said, is full of robots right now. They're playing near perfect basketball every single game, and they need a challenge. They have beaten some pretty good teams already, but they need a challenge. I want to see them play the Warriors. I want to see them play the Cavs. They're going out there and they're beating all these other teams by like at least 20 points, and I think they're bored. I honestly think they're bored because I would be bored. Their bench has been really good. That's one thing about the Clippers that's much better this year. Their bench in previous years has been kind of skeptical. You can look back to when they lost to the Houston Rockets in that playoff series. It's basically their lack of depth that did it for them. This year, the bench has been pretty good. Yo, Austin Rivers has been pretty good off the bench. Maurice Bates is a 6th Man of the Year candidate. And then, of course, you still have Jamal Crawford. So, you know, their bench has been lighting it up. Their bench had 56 points last night. 56 points from the bench. That is huge. My Pistons won again. Yes, sir, my Pistons won again, and I am so thankful for that. We went out and handled our business against the Miami Heat. You know, Andre Drummond was freaking dominating that game. You know, he had 18 points, 15 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 4 steals. defensive dominance, offensive dominance. He was just on fire. And speaking of on fire, Kentavious Caldwell Pope. I know most of you probably don't even know who that is. but Kentavious Caldwell-Pope has been really impressive as of late. His offensive game has stepped up a lot, and which I think has a huge part of it has to do with him finally being like a go-to guy in offense since Reggie Jackson has been out so far this whole season. That's allowed him to develop into more of an offensive player, which he really hasn't had the ability to do. He's never been the go-to guy in offense. He's always been like the third or maybe even fourth option on offense. And with Reggie Jackson out, he's been like the first or second option so far this year. If you don't know who KCP is, you have to admit, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, that is one of the sweetest names in the NBA. The Philadelphia 76ers are out here scaring teams to death, yo. They almost won 3 in a row. They lost in double overtime to the Memphis Grizzlies, a team that's been on a tear recently. And the Philadelphia 76ers gave them everything they had. But Ersan, stop flopping, bro. I'm a Pistons fan. I saw you do this at the beginning of last season. You are a flopper. Speaking of win streaks though, the Pelicans have won 4 in a row. After starting off the season 0-7, the Pelicans have now won 4 in a row. And they're looking alright. They're looking pretty good. They beat the Minnesota Timberwolves last night. Anthony Davis, 45 points, continues his tear. He continues to dominate, and I love to see Anthony Davis, after taking that hard spill in the last game, basically kind of like hurting his back a bit. He did the same thing this game. He dove in the stands to save a loose ball, and that's what I love to see, that fearlessness. He knows he's a player that's prone to getting a few injuries so far in his career, but he doesn't care. He just wants to go out there and get the win, and I love to see that from Anthony Davis. I was looking forward to this game though to see a matchup of Karl-Anthony Towns versus Anthony Davis. It wasn't much of a matchup, Davis absolutely murdered Towns. Towns only had 9 points. The Thunder need to make some moves, The Thunder absolutely need to make a trade. This isn't gonna cut it anymore. Russell Westbrook went out there. He had a pretty good game. Russell Westbrook had an alright game. He shot 7 of 18 from the field, had 31 points, but he also had 11 rebounds and 9 assists. So just 1 assist short of another triple-double. But the Thunder couldn't pull out the win over the Sacramento Kings, who are now 6-9 on the year, so not too bad. James Harden had another seemingly really good game, 29 points, 15 assists, but he had 12 turnovers. That's a lot of freaking turnovers. You're not gonna win when your best player is turning the ball over 12 times, and they didn't last night. The Toronto Raptors beat them. DeMar Carroll had his best game in a long time with 20 points, and DeMar DeRozan had 24. He's kind of came down to earth a little bit these last few games, but I expect him to get back to where he was soon. And the Boston Celtics have won all of their games since Jay Crowder and Al Horford returned, A lot of people were panicking about the Boston Celtics to start the season. They were saying, oh, they're not as good as we thought they were going to be. What are you talking about? They were missing 2 starters. You got to cut a team some slack when they're missing 2 starters. Now they have won 3 in a row. They're now 9-6. Al Horford's been amazing. He had 8 assists last night from the center position. That's amazing. 8 assists to go with 17 points and only 5 rebounds, but you can overlook that when you get the 8 assists. Dwight Howard had a 20-20 game last night. The Atlanta Hawks snapped their losing streak to beat the Indiana Pacers. I guess he was kind of upset after what happened to them versus the Pelicans last night. And yeah, they beat the Pacers. Dwight Howard was amazing. George Hill returned for the Utah Jazz last night. The Jazz got the win. George Hill had 22 points. Gordon Hayward had 22 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds. And if you're a Jazz fan, you have to be happy that George Hill is back. He's still playing better than anyone thought he would going into the season. The Spurs vs Hornets, this was low-key the best game of the night. Up and down battle the entire game, exchanging baskets the entire game, except for like the final 40 seconds of the game. That's when the Hornets messed up a couple times and the Spurs made them pay for it. They made a couple of bad inbound passes, one which turned into a turnover, and the other one they got a 5-second violation. They were right there with the Spurs the entire game. Both the teams were playing extremely well. Kawhi Leonard had a monster game. He had 30 points. LaMarcus Aldridge, I believe, had like 23. Kemba Walker continued his tear. He had 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists. So Kemba Walker almost had a triple-double last night, and this was just a really good game, And last but not least, the Suns beat the Magic. Nothing really much to talk about here. Alex Len had 17 points, 12 rebounds, and that's basically it. So that about wraps it up for the Day 31 recap of the 2016-2017 NBA season. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, smack that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I hope you guys all have a great Thanksgiving. I'm thankful for every last single person who watched my video, every single person who subscribed, just everyone. Just thank you to all of you guys out there. I hope you guys really do have a great Thanksgiving, a great day. Even if you don't celebrate Thanksgiving, you're in another country. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll be right back here tomorrow. There are no games tonight, but I'll still be back here tomorrow talking about something, so stay tuned for that. And until then, keep getting the buckets, Team SDC, and I'm out of here. Peace!